What's up, everybody? My name's Tyler, and joining me on the program today is a middleweight contender. He fights out of Detroit, Michigan. You can catch his next fight on November 22nd at Fury Challenger Series. We'll be taking on Felipe Rocha in search of his second professional win. Myles Bryant joins me on the program today. Myles, welcome back to the program, man. It's been a
Oh
couple years
man,
since we did one
it's
of
been.
these.
I know when we did one, I was an amateur. I think I just got knocked out the one before the last one we did. But yeah, it's been a while. I think when did we do that? 2021,
One? Yeah,
21?
I think
Yeah,
so. It's been a
yeah.
minute, dude.
I know. I got some scruff on my face now, so yeah, I'm looking
Well,
looking good.
happy birthday, Miles. I heard you just turned, sweet 16. So that's a major land. What am I looking for? Milestone. That's a major
Yeah,
milestone. Happy
yeah.
birthday to you. 27 years
Thank you,
young, and
sir.
here we are on the
Yeah.
pro scene now. And I have to ask you about that. Like making the leap from Amis to pros. How did you know the time was right for you to make that jump?
I think, well, especially in Michigan, we had a really tough time finding guys like my size, so we'd always have to leave the state. So I like go to Kentucky, Ohio, Iowa, places like that. So I think it was time after I had a few pullouts, and it was about I think I had like 3 or 4 pullouts last year, and not last year, but before I went pro, and I was like, I'm not getting any younger. I feel like I can still, I'm still capable of being a successful pro. I don't want to keep waiting around for these amateurs because it's amateur scene. Guys are getting hurt, not showing up to weigh in, so on and so forth. So I was like, you know what? I think it's time to make that transition to pro that way. Even though if I do make it to a show or something, I'm getting something out of it. So that was the biggest thing for me was making that transition was let's just get this stuff going. I have a few Amy fights in my back pocket. I've done a bunch of kickboxing and MMA smokers in Texas. Let's just start getting this ball rolling. I think I was 25 or 26 at the time when I had to make this decision. And it was a conversation that I had with a bunch of people because I was kind of iffy about it. I didn't want to, once you jump into that, if you have first pro fight, there's no going back. So I was kind of juggling what I should do, talk to a bunch of teammates who were in the same situation as I was. And they're like, dude, this is the time. So yeah, we made the leap and here we are.
Here we are indeed. And then you have additional changes as well. You were at an old gym last time I talked to you, but now we're
Mhm.
at a new get up. Can you tell me a
Yep.
little bit where are you training now and who are your coaches?
Yeah, so right now I'm training out of Stars and Strikes MMA. It's a gym in Westland, and then Ronaldo Candido's BJJ and Novi. So I kind of split my training between both gyms. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I want to start cross training at other gyms as well. So I'm going to start, driving out. I know VFS is right down the street, and I think it's like Bensonville, Illinois. That's where Bilal Muhammad and all those guys train. Going to start going out to Vegas a lot more to go cross train with the guys at Syndicate. So those are my two home gyms here in Michigan, and then obviously start going out to other places, getting different looks and whatnot, and getting more reps with different bodies.
With a new set of coaches, new teammates, etc., has it been like a big adjustment period for you over the past year or so?
Um, in the aspect of seeing how they do things and how they train and whatnot and how the guys in there are training with each other, yes. But I'm an army brat, so adjusting to shit on the fly is not hard for me. I assess, I get a feel for it, and then I'm going with the system as well. So it wasn't that tough. I can adapt very well to different situations and scenarios. So it wasn't anything that I was like overwhelmed about. I mean, obviously when you're starting at a new gym or going somewhere else, it's a little overwhelming. But then once you get the hang of things and you get in the feel and the rotation, it's muscle memory. So
As far as your development as a mixed martial artist, where do you feel the aspects of your game have improved the most since you've gone to your new gyms?
my grappling, I would say, I was very inconsistent with that. When it comes to like wrestling and BJJ, but I would say that was more. I'm putting more emphasis on that aspect of training. Well, I have been for a while now. Is that art rather? So I would think that is the biggest thing that's improved. I've always had good, decent striking. I didn't want to just focus strictly on that. Obviously, this is mixed martial arts, and this game evolves very fast over course of the time. So a lot of the stuff I've been doing is like grappling wise, and I feel like that's where I've kind of grown in that aspect. So yeah, it's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming.
Well, 2024 has been a very important year for you. You make the jump to the pro ranks, and I think there's
Hmm.
a story here. And the story I want to get out of you is this: like, you make your pro debut, you go up
Hmm.
against Preston LaGrange, and
Yeah.
nobody goes into a pro debut thinking like, This shit may not work out for me. I may start off my career
Yeah.
0-1."
Yeah.
And that is like a defining moment. That is like the pro debut is like that
Yeah.
fight that everyone circles, and it's like
Hmm.
ingrained in your mind.
Yeah.
You go out there, it doesn't work out,
Yeah.
and like it's like a funeral. It's like I thought I was going to be here for a party, and now it's like a funeral
Yeah.
atmosphere. And it'd
Yeah.
be very easy to dwell on that. Myles, tell
Hmm.
me about what happened in the pro debut.
Yeah.
It didn't work out for you, and
Hmm.
what was kind of like the biggest like takeaway you got from that experience?
So at that time, I was still transitioning to my new gym. So with like coaching wise, I didn't have a um, set group of people coming with me. I asked a buddy of mine, Luke. He's a grappling wizard. I on a fly text him, "Hey bro, do you think you'll be able to corner me for my pro debut?" And he was a G with it. He said, "Yeah, absolutely." And then my missus came with me, so it was just her and my teammate, and we drove what 6 7 hours to Iowa. And at the time, I was like, feeling a little not so confident, but we're gonna handle business regardless. We get to Iowa. The guy's a hometown kid, and he just came off a TKO or knockout win as well. And then it wasn't until fight night, no, the day before fight night, I was like, oh shoot, like Luke is he had his amateur MMA debut, won via submission. He's MMA, he knows about MMA like knowledgeable wise, but and like an actual head coach, like an actual general in the corner who can instruct, boom, boom, boom. So I was getting a little nervous with that. So it was to the point on fight night where I was asking other teammates, other fighters who were fighting that night, asking their coaches, "Hey man, I don't really have a corner. Would you mind just cornering me? This is the guy. This is what he does. This is how he's gonna come out. Just give me basic instruction." The promotion gave me this random guy on fight night that and I'm texting him like, dude, where are you at? I don't see you. It was just the logistics of it were just stressful. And keep in mind, I was supposed to be the co-main event for this promotion. The main event fell out, and then I was told I was the main event. So that was like, oh well, shit. So I'm trying to rummage around, find a corner, and at this point in time, I'm already like out of it. I'm not focusing on getting in there. I'm just focusing on having another voice in the corner to instruct and whatnot. So the promotion gave me this guy, and we kind of went over a game plan. Not really.
Mhm.
And then by the time I walk out to the cage, I'm at this point like, you know what, whatever happens, happens. Just try to listen. Just try to focus on the task at hand. Opponent comes out, 50,000 people walking behind him. And I'm just like, oh well, shit. All right, well, we're just gonna do this anyway. So more of the story is I was focused more so on other things. I didn't come prepared like I was supposed to have those main voices, and because obviously corners play a big role. I don't know if a lot of people understand this, but when you have fighting, as of an individual sport it is, you still have a team. So that confident that corner boosts your confidence as well, especially when they're your coaches who are coming for your gym and making that trip with you. My confidence was at all time zero. Let's just put it there. So I just wasn't really zoned in. I tried to convince myself, oh, you're zoned in, you got this, you're zoned in. And I wasn't. And I came out, I was doing things that I don't do before fights, like in the cage, little things that I assess afterwards. Like I never, if you go back and watch that fight, I never just sit there with my hands on my knees. That was the first thing. I never do that. And then as soon as he said fight, usually I snap out of it and I just couldn't really get into that gear. And then yeah, I lost. And I was like, you know what? It is what it is. I know a bunch of guys who and girls who have lost their pro debuts and then they go on a tear. And I had a really good support group with that as well because at first, and my dad he flew all the way from Germany for that fight in Iowa, in the middle of nowhere, Iowa. So that weighed on me too because like, dude, the first time he comes out, I get fucking TKO. Like, god damn it, like what? Like, so when you lose, especially as a fighter, a lot of things go through your mind, your head, and especially at that time, I was like, dog, like what the hell? Like, why'd I do that?
Hmm.
So that was the biggest thing, was that confidence boost. I just didn't have it. I didn't have it because I figured, you know what, I go in there, just do what I do. And it made me realize that, yeah, the people you have behind you when you are getting locked in there, they do matter. Like they really do. So that's kind of how that went.
And then 5 months later, Miles, you go out there and you fight Trey Cusack. Can you tell me,
Yeah.
like, what compare and contrast the first
Mm.
fight to the second fight?
I had a corner. I had a corner. No, I was established at my gym. I had a corner. We had a game plan. And I felt good, and I knew that I couldn't, I couldn't do the same thing that I did the first time. There had to be changes made, because if I want to be successful in the sport, I have to make changes. And that was the biggest thing that I emphasized for that one. So we got the opponent. It was a perfect matchup, especially after how I lost. We went to Ohio, which it was like 2.5 hours away, which is also pretty cool too, because I was back like after the fight. I was back home, my missus on the couch in our PJs watching a movie like nothing happened. So it was perfect. And my team and I went down there. Not my well, it was my coaches, it was my head coach and another teammate who made the trip. And what really made me feel good is people from my gym carpooled also, like to watch. So I see them walk in my locker room, like I had no clue they were coming. Oh, we're about to fuck shit up. Like confidence goes out here now. So yeah, I felt better going into it. I wasn't stressing about it. The weight cut was good. Everything was just in tune. So then when I ended up getting in there, boom, 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 things happen, and I get the finish in like a minute and 30 or something seconds like that, a submission. And I was very emotional because I was like, this is what this is what I know I'm capable of, and I didn't get to showcase that for my first time, simply because I wasn't fully prepared for that, and then everything else that kind of fell what came with that rather. So yeah, we did things differently, and handled business that second time going. So yeah, it was a
Well,
good time.
when I think of you, Miles, I think of a strong man. I think of striking, but it was a gilly is what you used to get
It
your
was a
opponent
guilt.
out
It
of
was a
there.
fucking guillotine. It was a guillotine. And you know what's crazy is I wanted to hit that choke for so long, and I told my missus, I told my teammates, like, dude, like I'm not a guy who looks for submissions, but if I fight, so we're in a scramble, and my wrist is under. I was like, wait a minute. Oh, I can fucking crank this. So I got it, and yeah, it was a fucking guillotine. I don't, like if those were betting odds, that would be like a plus 5,000. I mean, like I don't fucking submit people. So that was cool. That was cool. My first pro win was my fucking submission. Like how cool is that? Like,
Well, like, can you tell me, like, do you feel like you kind of atoned for that flat pro debut by what you did in the second fight?
yes, absolutely, yes, because I know what I can do. I know what I can do. I'm a hard worker. I know I wouldn't be in this sport if I didn't think I could become something or do something with this. So I always knew that. And that was in the back of my head as well, going to the second one is, dude, you know what you're capable of. You fell flat the first time. Here's your opportunity to get on that track. And that's kind of the mentality I had going into it, is and it worked out. It worked out. The stars aligned. I had people in my corner. I had I mean, I always have a support group, but it was just the perfect opportunity, and the perfect outcome happened. So it was awesome. It was a great feeling, and that proved to myself as well, like, dude, you can do something with this. So after I won, I got emotional because I proved myself right. I think that was the biggest thing after that fight. I proved myself right. So that was the biggest thing I took away from that.
Miles, you signed a multi-fight deal with Fury, which is one of the
Yeah.
premier regional MMA promotions in the
Hmm.
country. Can you tell me a little bit, like, when you got that multi-fight offer from
Yeah.
Fury, like, what's going on in your mind? Because not everyone gets to fight for a
Dude,
promotion like this.
man, so I was talking to my manager for a while, and I know he got sick and tired of me like texting him about it, but I was like, hey, like Ram, like, hey, we can get like like a Fury, a CFFC, an LFA, a APFC, one of these known regional scenes. I just need one. Let's just get one. And I kept harping it to him, and every time they'll post an event, I send it to him on Instagram like, hey, they got a card coming up. And he said, you know what, let's see if we can get one, but if we can get more, that'd be great. Obviously, we're under contract with the promotion, so we don't have to go looking for, shows to get on. We're guaranteed 4. So he sent me a text like, hey, we got a 4-fight contract with them. We got a 4-fight deal. And at first I was like, oh shit, like this is kind of crazy. It wasn't until I saw it, the contract, and I printed it out and I was looking at it. I had it sitting on our kitchen counter for like an hour before I signed it, just looking at it like, holy shit, like this is a big step. And I don't think people understand how big of an opportunity this is because, like you said, Fury, they are one of the top promotions in this country to get guys to that next level, whether it be Bellator, PFL, One, UFC. Like they just signed 4 or 5 guys from the Contender Series this past season. So guys are getting called up every day, to compete in that big organization. So when I got that, everything went out the window. All my past fights went out the window. It's like, this is where I really have to dial in because, when opportunity knocks, it's like you're going to open the door, you're going to you're going to leave it closed. So that was the biggest thing. But emotions wise, I was just, holy fuck, like this is a Fury. This is Fury. Like this is the start. And exciting. I mean, it was really exciting. It was really like I want to frame it. I want to like put it in a frame. Like holy shit. Because I can look back on that and like, yeah, this is where I got that opportunity. So now it's just a matter of what do I do with it. So yeah, really exciting. I'm really excited for that.
Well, you'll be going up against Felipe Rocha. He is a black belt. He looks like a really talented fighter.
Yeah.
What is your take on your opponent? And can you tell me a little bit? Like, you look at this guy, and obviously you start stacking yourself up against him.
Yeah,
Just kind of what are your thoughts on the matchup?
Well, I think it's a perfect matchup. I think it's the perfect matchup. He's coming off a first round submission. I'm coming off a first round submission, so it's perfect. It's perfect. And like as we all know, he's a seasoned grappler. So that'll be a really big test for me as well, because I haven't really fought any world class grapplers in my past fights. So this will be a step up in a test for me as well. And I love it. I love it. I'll really be able to see how I can handle certain things that happen in there. And he's good. And it was funny about it. Like we've been following each other on Instagram for a while now. And when I got the opponent's name, I was like, why does it sound so familiar? So I'm just scrolling through Instagram and I come across, I'm like, oh, we've been following each other for a while. So it's I know there's a mutual respect between us, and all of his past wins have been via submission. He's an amazing grappler. His striking has been coming. I've noticed has been it's really progressed as well. So that's what I'm excited for is this matchup, knowing that he's a credentialed and seasoned BJJ black belt. That'll be a cool feather to put in the cap for sure.
Well, I will also ask you this. It's like, you're a smart man. You know how the fighting game works. He comes from a Texas gym. This is a Texas promotion.
Yeah.
He's going to be the fan favorite.
Yeah.
I'm almost going to expect we're going to go on Tapology, and there's going to be like 3% of the people who think you're going to win.
Yeah.
So tell me about being an underdog going into this fight and just being in Fury. Like, does being an underdog, does that fire you up, Myles? And do you think that you have like something to prove to a lot of these people?
Yeah. And this is why I like how I constructed my fight career is every single fight that I have fought in the past have been in some guy's hometown. You know what I mean? And honestly, people don't know this, but I started training in Houston / College Station, Texas. So this is a homecoming for me too. So, but being an underdog, it doesn't really phase me. I've been an underdog in 99.9% of my fights, fighting in other guys' hometowns. It's just all white noise to me. I feel at home fighting in Houston. I have people who I went to school with and friends who are coming out as well. So it may say like underdog and whatnot, but I feel like I'm at home too. So it doesn't phase me at all. No, it doesn't. So yeah, it'll be fun.
Well, and for a lot of people, it's going to be their first time witnessing you perform. Like it'll be
Yeah,
on Fight Pass. It's going to be a
yeah,
big deal. Anyone, anywhere in the world can watch this fight. For
yeah.
people who've never seen you fight before, Miles, what can they expect on fight night against Hosha?
Excitement, composure, and they're gonna. How long has this guy been in here? Because even when I'm training, I feel like a seasoned vet already. I don't know. It's just the way I hold myself and the way I approach things. So they'll see excitement. They'll see a good scrap for sure. I don't want to. I can't say too much because, like I said, all respect to Felipe, he's awesome as well, and I know we're gonna put on a damn good show for Fury for 100%. It'll be a good time.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you tune in to the fight. It'll be coming up here in a few weeks. Miles, you're a fight nerd, so I got to ask you a couple fighting nerd kind of questions.
Yeah.
And we're going to get right into this, man. UFC 308, that's going to be happening next week, October 26th. Co-main event and main event. Let's get right to it, man. Robert Whitaker versus Hamzat Chimaev. Who are we taking in that fight and why?
Taking Bobby Knuckles, man. I'm taking Bobby Knuckles, and I don't want to be the MMA casual where it's like, oh, if it goes to 5 rounds, like any win. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna go with Robert Whitaker because one, he's a future Hall of Famer. He's seasoned. He knows what he's going up against. He knows what Chimaev is going to do. Only thing that I'm kind of worried about is Chimaev. Every time, not every time, but a lot of times he always falls really ill. So he knows he's going to come out guns blazing, but Robert just knows how to manage distance. He knows how to control the fire when it's in his face. So I think, and here I go, something like a casual. If he can weather the storm, I think he picks him apart. Finishing him, I don't necessarily think he finishes him, but I see him taking a decision. Yeah. But I'm taking Robert Whitaker for sure.
All right, so we're going with the dog in the co-main event. Let's go to the main event. The 145-pound strap is going to be on the line. Ilya Topuria, 15-0, going up against the legend himself, Max Holloway. What's the call for that one?
Max
Holloway going for the dog.
I'm going Max, man. I'm going
All right,
Max.
tell me why.
First and foremost, guys, don't get it twisted. I love me some Ilya Topuria. I love him. What I'm looking at is distance, control. I mean, we all know, and I think he proved it to us when he fought Josh Emmett. Ilya has cardio too, but I think both fighters are on this roller coaster going up. Like their stardom is through the roof, especially the way how Max finished Justin Gaethje in 300. So I can honestly see Max either finishing Ilya. This may be a hot take. I can see him finishing Ilya. If I had to throw some money on this, I'm taking Max by TKO, KO, or decision. I think Max can do it. I think he's too smart. Ilya, now granted, Ilya's smart too, but I think his cage IQ is maybe a little bit more than Ilya simply because of how long he's been in there. People forget Max has been fighting the UFC for what?
10 years?
10 years?
At least, yeah.
Fought Conor like his first fight, Dustin Poirier. Look at the guys he's fought too. Not taking anything from Ilya, but I just think Max has that edge. And he's still riding that momentum from that 300 win. Now, granted, Topuria's still on that roller coaster as well. What he just did to our man Volk. I don't want to talk about it. But you know what I mean? So this is gonna be a toss-up for me, honestly, but I'm gonna ride with Max. I can't doubt Max. I can't do it. Can't do it.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, Miles has taken the dogs for the co-main and the main event. And Miles, before I let you go, let's talk about people that we need to thank. I know that you have a great management team behind you. I know you have a lot of sponsors and all these other people that help support you. Who would you like to shout out before I let you go?
So first and foremost, my family, my missus, she deals with all this shit while I'm going through the weight cutting and everything like that. So she's been a true soldier. And then my management, Ruby Sports, Remy, you're awesome, man. I appreciate you. And thank you for taking a chance on a no-name fighter coming out of Detroit, Michigan. I greatly appreciate it and the opportunity that you have given me. And then sponsors, still working on that. But if I had to shout them out, my man Freddie in Melvindale, Freddie the Pizza Man, thank you so much for backing me in my last 2 fights. And then everyone else who's been Core Theta, thank you guys for supporting. And yeah, that's all I got.
All right, Myles. Well, I appreciate your time today, sir. I wish you the best of skill in November, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.